Shark Park, Saturday, versus the Rabbitohs. Wayne Bennett. Can we make it hostile? What do we have to do to create an atmosphere? That and much more on the ET Stand podcast next. For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand podcast. Welcome to the ET Stand podcast, the Cronulla Sharks fan podcast that lets its talking do the football. We are live on YouTube and Facebook and available on audio only on delay on all good audio platforms, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and a whole bunch of other ones. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Solve Accounting, Miranda Hotel, and Morgan's Cronulla. And we have a new sponsor tonight that we're going to announce in our last segment of the evening. Let's bring the lads in that are with me along the way tonight. We have Scott Latino and Chris Kelly and Tim from the Shark Cage, who have all been punished and put on mute because, quite frankly, they were trying to be smart asses during the warm-up as we were coming into this thing. So hello, boys, Lats, Chris Kelly and Tim. Lats, why did I put you on mute?
Mate, I'm still trying to work it out myself, mate. I've got no idea. Please enlighten us.
You know what you did.
I know what I did.
And Chris Kelly's on his little avatar. He's saying his line from New York in the room next door to me. Are you?
Yeah, I'm right next door. You don't need to
You're
mute me. You can hear me.
Well, I know what I can hear next door to you, and it's our lovely assistant, not you next door, but you're trying to trick the viewers. And now, new friend of the show, Tim from the Shark Cage, who must be the most popular Sharks fan going around at the minute with the vision that all of us have for how successful the Shark Cage is going to be in Stam Stone Street's corner. Tim, how's it going, mate? Are you just a social media icon these days amongst the Shire now?
Yeah, it's definitely something I didn't expect over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I think it's my new gig at the moment.
What's been the strangest or the coolest person who's responded to the socials or maybe read any of your comments or your chants that you've put up so far?
There's been a few. There's older people had this by the Instagram look of a senior sort of messaging me just saying how good is this. I want to get amongst it in the Shark Cage, and so I hope that comes along.
Now, hold on a minute. Senior person. So what are you saying? Like, am I showing up as a senior person on your Instagram page?
No, much older. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Okay. Much older.
You're right.
All right. Well, follow the Shark Cage Instagram page. And you want to name drop any notable Sharks people followed your page or looked at stuff yet? Or
I've had a few.
Mr. Dino?
Going along, Mr. Dino as well. So he wants to get amongst the Shark Cage. So
well, He certainly is pretty passionate about the pre-game and the at-game atmosphere for Sharks. So anyone who can help him with that, he will be certainly down for helping us. Look, in terms of experience, we need you guys to help us with the experience on the ET Stand. And the way you do that is by getting involved in the comments. So if you are new to the show, you can comment at any time and we'll get through your comments at any point. Now, but YouTube also has the super chat function, which means that if you want to donate us $1 or $2, and help buy Stephen Franklin some new internet, then you can donate us $1, and we need to instantly stop the show and answer whatever question you have asked. So it's only been used once on us. So we'll see who has gone and done that. And here's the first of the commenters coming in, Ashley Willems, saying, hello, gents. G'day to you, Ash. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're not still complaining about those referees. Now, we've also taken over a Sharks fans Discord channel. Get involved in that if you want to chat throughout the game with other Sharks legends. It's ironically called the Shark Cage. So, Tim, we're going to have to get you and your friends onto the Shark Cage, I think. I think we can sort that out. So we'll get that happening too. There was a MVP this week. What was that guy's avatar's name? Lats in the chat, in the Discord channel?
Oh, Hugh. What was it?
What was his
someone?
name?
Oh, I don't know.
Hugh?
No, it was Hugh. Hugh Cox, I think it was.
Yeah, his name was. So everyone thought this guy
G
was
silent.
with the
It wasn't me, mate.
It was definitely you. It was
I
your
can
burner
definitely vouch
account
it
for
wasn't
sure.
me.
Oh, it was definitely you. Come
Definitely
on.
your burner account.
Come on. Do also get your tips in as well on the ET stand tonight. And Harley has already come through with his tip saying tipping the Sharks by 30. Tipping the Sharks.
He's
by
not
30.
wrong often, Harley, is it?
Yeah.
Well, he
Might
was
be
the
something
winner of
to
the
get on.
tipping comp. Now, I went on the Cowboys fans podcast thing, and they've got this guy called Pistol Pete, and he swears by the Cowboys winning 51 plus or 50 plus. I didn't even know that was a bet. Can you bet 50
Yeah.
plus, Chris?
Of course you can. Yeah, and they did it against the Tigers because the Tigers did it to them last year, and they reversed it the other way back at Leichhardt. So yeah, there is a 51 plus.
Yeah, right.
It used to
All
be
right,
the,
well,
old 49 plus. I
Yeah,
think
it's
was
on the
the
51.
back in the day, and they've.
That's
More
what you used to call up on the tablets. It's showing your age.
oh goodness me! I don't reckon Tim knows how to bet 49 plus on the Sharks. Do you, Tim?
Nah, geez, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah,
I'll send you a link.
So he's admitting he's seen it as well. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to cue down the Sharks music here. All right, as we get into the news, this is the social media news that is breaking at the moment that is important for Sharks fans. So what do I mean by that? Basically, each weekend, Lats goes and just keeps an eye on the social media. You're just the man of the people, aren't you, Lats?
Mate, it's a job given to me by the internet people, and it's one I take seriously.
Well, you do take it very seriously. So let's get it through right now. Any news that is trending right now and they're getting discussion by the Sharks fans, Lats is going to take us through right now. Let's go, buddy.
All right, mate. We've got Captain Cam taking out the Paul Green medal with his strong performance against the Cowboys on Saturday night. Sharkies put out some nice pics in the socials after the match, and you can see what the medal means to both players and to the late, great Paul Green's family. Fitzy spoke in the post-game press about how Cam showed great leadership in the match, and that's what got him over the line. He also paid homage to Ronnie and Teague, who were very close to taking it out also. Sharkies fans amongst the socials also agreeing Fitzy stating Cam was very deserving of the honour. So well in, Cam. All right, fully sick Sharks. Something else Fitzy alluded to in the press conference was that during the round 2 preps, Sharks were well on the back foot given that they're only Vegas team post round 1 that had to travel. And the team were riddled with illness given that 5 had come back from Vegas with COVID. 5 had come back with influenza A. The team were unable to train until Monday and then had to make the trip up north to play in the extreme humid conditions. He was very pleased with both the team's performances, both team performance and the result given the interruptions they faced in their preps. So look out for a much stronger, fitter and prepared team this week against the Bunnies.
They did look a little tired at times, and you could just tell something was a bit off. Tim, what was your take on the Sharkies? Could you tell when you were watching the Cowboys match?
Yeah, I did see a lot of fatigue early on. I thought that sort of summed it up. Because I did hear something during the week before the game that there was something going around when they came back. And yeah, I don't think they started training till it was Monday, the week of the game. So yeah, it's not too good.
All right. Well, maybe this result's far better than we perhaps anticipated.
Yep, hopefully that's the way it's looking. So let's fingers crossed there. There was a lot of love across the socials this week for Will Kennedy turning in a very strong performance against the Cows. Fans were very impressed with his defence and especially that try-saving tackle on Murray Tuolangi, which is no mean feat. Like he's a very strong player and Will's not massive. He's quite tall, but he's not massive, and to do that was quite good. Also, how he injected himself into the attack and the immense work coming out of our back half. It was great to see Will playing with that level of confidence, and hopefully he re-signs with us soon. The Newtown Jets secured a thrilling 1-point win over the Newcastle Knights on Saturday at Henson Park, with the home side going into the break in front 18 points to 6 before the Knights came surging in the second half to put on 22 unanswered points, with Christian Dixon for the home team crossing in the 74th minute to equalise. Puru missing the conversion, which saw scores locked up until the 79th minute, where Puru then became the hero and slotted the 1-pointer to seal the game. And finally, it's all about the presser in the socials so far this week, where media-driven Nico Agenda reared its ugly head again in the press conference. Fitzy was asked about it, which he quickly shot down and said, "It's just getting weird now." have to agree with him. He then goes on to say Nico had a very strong game against the Cowboys, and he was very happy with his round 1 performance against the Panthers in Vegas also. Given that short kickoff got them back into the game, he really took the reins, especially in that last 20 minutes. He was also nursing that groin injury into the season opener, hence the reason he wasn't kicking, and Fitzy was very happy with his workload against the Cowboys this week. Fans also came to Nico's defense across the socials and shut anything untoward down quickly.
Well, let's just drill down on that a little bit. And I've got this as the first key talking point as we go into the major talking points coming out of the Sharks versus the Cowboys match. Now, the talking point segment, it is brought to you by Morgans at Cronulla. Now, there's a lot of stockbroking talking points at the moment with the fact that Donald Trump is in and everyone seems to have lost a whole bunch of money if you're share investing. And that's why Morgans at Cronulla are sponsoring this segment. So if you're looking for some stockbroking advice and help, call Chris and the team down at Morgans and Cronulla. Tell them Boldo sent you, and you'll get a whole bunch of free trades apparently. But no, they're a good bunch of guys, the guys down at to Morgans, and they do help me out a lot. So let's start with you and just keep on this Nico theme. On the debrief on Saturday night, 2.0 called out that he thinks that with the Sharks fans have got a role to play in this, and we just need to even stop talking about it, stop giving it social support, stop clicking on the stories. Have we got a role to play? How can we help this situation? Is it the Simpsons episode of the donut guy and Homer Simpson not looking so that we can win out?
Just don't look.
Fans have a role to play, and the way they're playing it is it's in support. They're shooting it down. You get the odd fan that wants him at fullback and whatnot. As a collective, though, it's all support for him. Why isn't Dylan Brown being spoken about in this same regard? He's the richest contract in NRL history, not proven, not performing, and yet nothing's mentioned about his lack of performance. Nick, they've just got a massive agenda for Nico, and they know he's a fragile player, and that's probably why. I think it was a good move by Fitzy setting it straight in the presser and sort of bringing light on how weird it's getting. It might scale it back a bit in the media, but do we need some sort of, NRL injection to stop this sort of slander in the media? Sanctions for commentators, sanctions for journalists being around the game, whatnot. I don't know, but it's getting out of hand. It's ridiculous.
I think the overwhelming support of the Sharks fans is getting behind Nico Hines. Tim, you're obviously well connected to a whole bunch of Sharks fans. How universally loved is Nico Hines? And how small are the pockets of the Sharks fans that are maybe jumping on this bandwagon? Because what I'm finding is Sharks fans are not buying any of this rubbish.
I think that's exactly what it is. Just jumping on the bandwagon of, you hear he has one bad game, and they sort of just pounce on him. But obviously, I think winning the Dally M a couple of years back didn't help him, as in these last 2 years. The expectations just so high, I think, for him. But he'll get there. You can see it. You can see he's sort of stepping back, letting Trindle play a bit, but he's still got it in him, definitely.
As he answers the question with his Heinz Bean sign sitting over his left shoulder. Give us a look at that sign there. That's a pretty good sign. All right, well, Tim, look, Chris, round us out on the Nico. We chatted on it last week as well. Are we done on this subject now?
Yeah,
Does it fall into
you set us up for the subject last week to talk about Hines, so we sort of reared its head. It's interesting, though, Latch said it on social media, and I went through a few comments on the weekend, and it was just pretty much all our supporters just saying that the journalists are being lazy and defending Nico. It's time to put it to bed. I think it's a bit of recency bias, like Tim said. He's one of Daly M, so it's high expectations, but you look at any halfback, if you go through the greats of, Joey Langer, even Cleary, players like that, they don't have 10 out of 10 games every single week. And Nico doesn't need to do that. Like we've spoke about, he's just another cog in the wheel. He's part of the team. Fitzy's backing him. The players are backing him. He's just doing his part. I thought his game was pretty good against the Cowboys. And I thought his first 10 minutes against the Panthers was quite good, setting up those tries. Like, I don't know what they want. Do they want 2 tries, all goals, 5 try assists every single game and a win? So unless it's glaringly bad, it doesn't bother me. Let's just put it to bed.
Oh, it's bad. Done. I'm going to stop including it in the run sheets. And I'll try and be more effective. Tim, I'm going to throw to you now. Let's change tact a little bit. The Sharks again struggled against a 12-man Cowboys team or a 12-man team. cause for concern. What did you make of that 10 minutes where we weren't able to get some points?
To be fair, I feel like we see this in a lot of games. People get the 10 in the bin, and then the teams just can't get points from it for some unknown reason. You'd think it'd be easy to spread it wide and sort of score, but I reckon that defensive team that pumps them up even more for defense. It's just with everyone. But I mean, yeah, it is a bit disappointing we couldn't get more on the trot. But as soon as Purdue comes back on, we score 2 tries straight after. So it just doesn't make sense. But
well, we probably ran them down a bit of tiredness. I actually think that we should sometimes take the 2 points when they go down to 12, because you then immediately get the ball back. And if you kick the goal quickly, you've had them tackling the ball for a long time, and you can go not, coast to coast in terms of scoring twice, but 8 points is still pretty good. Kelly, you've reflected on the match now. Sharks, how good a shape are we coming into round 3, and where do you think we're at this season?
Yeah, again, I think I didn't have a problem at all during the game. I wasn't worried at any stage. Yeah, the sin bin part was disappointing not to turn the screws on them, but like Tim said, we scored 2 quick tries as soon as the centre came back on, and happy days were back in front. I thought our slick backline movements were still there. There was no glaring errors out there. I know Franco touched on it. We were at 85% completion for the night, which is pretty good in, like we spoke on, an illness and hot, humid conditions. So, good performance across the park. A little bit, looking ahead, I was pretty happy to play the Rabbitohs round 3 in our first home game, but they were pretty good on the weekend. They were good against an unmanned Dolphins team, and then against the Dragons down here at Wollongong, the Dragons should have put them to bed, but we know what the Dragons are like historically. Their last 20 minutes is awful, and Flano's been cracking the whip on a few of those guys. Called out his halfback that they bought, so maybe they'd want Nico instead. But yeah, I think we're still in a good shape. I think, going into, we had a tough travel period, but we're still going fine.
Lads, Kale Hero looked pretty good, I thought.
Mate, he was awesome from the get-go. Scored that opening try, which is a very strong centre try. Had reminded me of some Ricky Latelli tries I saw over the years. Just some good, strong running from the back. No errors, 2 tries, 90% tackle efficiency. He was 14 runs for 113 run meters, 35 post-contact meters, 2 line breaks. Like, he's a class centre now. Fitzy's patience in blocking that outside noise and not bringing him in too early is really starting to pay dividends, and it's developed him as a real strong first-grade centre.
Someone else is developing, Tim. You'll be keeping an eye on the Groat Street, Sam Stone Street, given that he scores tries in your corner. He can find the try line. Are you expecting him to find the try line, and you got some sort of chant and something lined up for him this week?
Yeah, no, definitely we'll have a chant as he gets over the line. But no, I can definitely see him, especially like looking at his debut and this week when Katoa scores as well. It's always down that end, but I can see him going over for at least 15 this year.
Why was he not quick enough in that match, or why did he get run down?
Maybe he was one of the ones with COVID.
Yeah. Take that. Well, there was the excuse.
There was one where Nico, I felt, passed to him slightly too early. And so then I think it was Dearden was able to, he had to skip around Dearden, which then held him up, which meant the centre could get him. God, it is going to be entertaining in your corner of the field, isn't it, Tim, if Stone Street goes over. All right, last point. Let's just close this out. Klatz called him out, Chris. My man, Will Kennedy, I never doubted him. We don't have as much backup depth now with Ison being out. How do you see Kennedy's game coming along?
Everything you've asked of him, he's done this season so far defensively. I think he's been an absolute defensive wonder. He stopped 3 tries already in 2 games just doing that, which kind of nullified him a little bit in the attack, but it hasn't stopped the machine keep rolling. So I will make a point of it in my league roundup later on to point out to you how Kennedy is going. But yeah, he's been fantastic. It's good work from Bubba out there, and I'm loving it.
It's a good tackle in that corner too, pushing Taolangi out. That was.
And he had one against Penrith in Vegas as well.
Yeah, well, all right. Maybe he can, as long as he catches the ball off.
I can see him creeping up the tiers just a little bit.
As long as he catches the ball off the kickoff in the finals, I can maybe forgive him. All right, let's preview this Rabbitohs match. The Sharks versus Rabbitohs preview is brought to you by Miranda Hotel. If you can't get to the game down at Shark Park, get down to Miranda Hotel. You can get a $7 schooner during the Sharks match. You can book a table at mirandahotel.com.au. So the Cronulla Sharks welcome the 2-0 South Sydney Rabbitohs to Shark Park. It is a top 8 clash. Now, the Sharks have won the last 3 versus the Rabbits, who over the last few years post Adam Reynolds haven't been too good, but Wayne Bennett maybe makes them just a little bit better. Since 1998 in the NRL era, we've been 22-18 against the Rabbits with an all-time record of 50-43 with 3 draws. Tim, who are you looking forward to seeing running out for the Sharks this week as I pull up the much unchanged team list? Who are you looking forward to seeing play?
Jesse Raymond. I think he is shown the last two games that he's looking a bit slimmer and a bit quicker. I feel like you give him some space. I think we haven't seen that yet, but going down at Shark Park, we can see some Rami and Magic.
Rami and Magic, or Rami and just bustling over the top of them. I should have read out the team list for those on the courtesy of audio, and I'll do the team list. Am I going to read the team list, Chris, or are you going to do it?
No, you're going to do it. You like the copy and paste. Off you go.
All right, here we go. The take on the Rabbitohs, round 3. William Bubba Kennedy, Chris Kelly's man at fullback, Goat Street and Mulatalo on the wings with Jesse Ramian and the previously mentioned Kyle Lero in the centres. Braden Trindle and Nico Hines are your halves. The front row of Aiden Fanua-Blake and Oregon Kafusi with Ironman Blake Brayley playing hooker. It is the very popular Britton Nakora and Teague Wilton in the second row, and Captain Cam McInnes locks the team. We see Daniel Atkinson, the Heartbreak Kid, at number 14 again with the biggest bench you'll see. The Siasif Talakai at 15. Braden Hamlin-Ueli retained his spot there despite some pressure. And Tuku Hautapua is the man wearing the 17 jersey with Tommy Hazelton continuing to be out. And they are coached by Craig Fitzgibbon. I thought I did that pretty well, actually.
Your favourite coach.
We got there.
Oh, my favourite coach. Yeah, I've jumped on board, Coachy Fitzgibbon. We love Fitzgibbon on the TT Stand podcast. And Fitzgibbon watches this show because he told me. So, or at least he pretended that he did.
A lot changes in Vegas.
Do you think he actually does watch the show, or is he just bullshitting me?
No, I'm sure he tunes in, mate. Like, if it's anything, we tag him. He's probably got nothing to do after the team list Tuesday, and why wouldn't you sit down and watch what we think?
Well, all right. Well, let's talk about it here. He's just naming the same team every week. Lads, is this getting any social reaction, this team list? Or do Sharks fans even care about the team list now? Is it just the same bunch of mob every bloody week?
No, mate, there is, look, it's the same team, but there is a bit of chatter amongst the socials in it. More so around, as you mentioned, Braden Hamlin-Ueli. Fans saying he has to have a big game this week, given a little bit of a lackluster performance last week. With a couple of calls for Billy Burns to be promoted in his position if he doesn't. They feel they'll get a bit more out of that. Also, a few wanting to know when Toby Rudolph's going to be fit so that he can take his place if need be.
Good take. So, well, Chris's question was which Sharks players are under pressure in that team, and you've completely stolen all of his answers to that question, lad. So, Chris, are there any other players in this team under pressure, or do you subscribe to the Hamlin-Ueli pressure cooker?
No one's under pressure. Like we said, we know we've got a lot of healthy competition in the forward, so obviously those guys know they have to perform. But I love the copy and paste. It's been this way for the last 2 or 3 years. It's been this last way for 12 months we've done on the podcast. It's quite easy to write up a team list and not having any shocks. I'd hate to be another team waiting to know who's going to fill in at TBA at 12 and 15 and who's going to get suspended and whatnot. So I'm very happy to keep going. Let's go.
Tim, what do you make of Tuku Hautapua?
I like him. I really like him. But it's just so hard. Like I can't see anyone else on the team list but Hamlin-Ueli that could sort of swap for him. But it sort of comes down to training hard and who performs in the games, I guess.
Well, just on that, the consistent discussion point on the bench for us is that 14, Daniel Atkinson, Tim. Well, let's dig in on that a little bit with you specifically, because the rest of us have got a pretty firm opinion that we think the Sharks should be playing with 4 forwards. especially with Talakai. Are you subscribing to that, or where do you sit with Heartbreak
Yeah, I
Kid?
think
down
especially because Talakai can obviously play different positions, but it's weird. Like Atkinson, like he's come on both games, and I've sort of trying to figure out where he's playing as well. So it's not like we need him there. So we could do those 4 forwards on the
Where
bench.
is he playing, Lats? Where is he just playing in the middle forward and just playing as a running kind of ball playing lock forward, isn't he?
Yeah, and trying to catch teams unaware that are a bit fatigued around the middle there. But look, it makes sense this week given Tommy Hazelden's absence, bringing Tapua in. We don't really have a great deal of bench stocks at the moment with, Rudolph out, Colhoun's tracking early from his injury. We've got Sione out, so Stone Street's already in. But, it makes sense this week. But going forward, when all players are fit, I think we will see that forward-heavy bench that paid dividends for us last year.
You think that's going to happen?
Yeah. Especially
Chris,
with
do you think
Atkinson
that's going to
going.
happen? Is he going to switch back to 4 forwards? I don't think he will.
Yeah, well, you did make mention of Billy Burns and his massive guns in Vegas, so there's every chance he comes to the side. Calhoun, I'd love to see come back into this team. Obviously, Toby. The Heartbreak Kid's playing a weird role. It's very like Craig Wing back in the day, where you just throw him out there and he's sort of playing lock and dummy half and half back, and it's just a strange role at the moment. Like I'd prefer to see him kept there as an emergency, sort of like Nico did in the Melbourne Storm Grand Final win, where he just sat on the bench and didn't play a second. I'd rather that than actually throwing him out there and wasting an interchange for I don't know why.
All right. Anything else that we want to mention in this team? I think the rest of it's pretty straightforward. I think Brayley's been looking pretty good. Nicker and Wilton were great. Maybe could get a little bit more out of CSF for Talakai. I think it's a pretty standard looking Sharks team, and we're looking to comprehensively beat this South Sydney team, who are 2-0. But I did watch that Dragons match. I thought they were outrageously lucky in the Dragons match, weren't they, Chris? What'd you make of South?
Yeah, well, it came down to, again, 2 weeks in a row to their $1 million signing of Val Holmes missing a lot of goals was pretty much the difference. So they outscored them in tries, but just not in effort. And like I said, they sort of just shut down the last 20. I watched the field goal, and it's quite bizarre with your favourite Dragons fan, Mr. Furious. And South were going nowhere and just happened to went, you know what, I'm going to kick a left-footed field goal from 30 metres out and just shock the crowd. So, weird game because the Dragons were in control of that the whole way. So quite bizarre. But I know Latz's favourite player, Jack Whiten's back in the centres this week. They're sort of all over the place, this South team. It's a bit of a made up bits and pieces, but they're fighting away.
Now Tim's just slid into the DMs of the chat here, guys, and volunteered himself to read out the Rabbitohs team list. So without further ado, Tim from the Shark Cage is going to take us through the Rabbitohs team.
First ditch
With the song to die down, and then it'll go again, and then you're ready, Tim. All right, Tim's debuting on the ET stand to read out the Rabbitohs team versus the Sharks.
And at fullback for the Rabbitohs, Jai Gray. The unfortunate wingers, Isaiah Tass and Fletcher Myers. In the centres, Jack Wyden and Campbell Graham. Got Cody Walker playing 5'8", and Jamie Humphries playing number 7. Sean Kepi, number 8, and at hooker is Peter Mamazelos.
There we go. We're waiting for it. There's been a better one coming.
You did well.
At number 10, Davey Maoli. Number 11 is Keon Kalangmatangi.
Yes.
I thought it was calamari tongue.
Another other edge, Keon Jai Gray. Playing at lock is Tallis Duncan, starting for the first time this year. But Jaden Sullivan on the bench. Havili, LeBlanc, and Totola.
We stitched you up
Coached
there.
by Wayne Bennett.
Oh, well done, Tim. That's just so mean. That's just so mean. I was looking at that. Can we get Some
We'll get
lovely
him back for
comments.
the Warriors lineup next time.
Koloa Matangi, I think is how you say that one.
Me and Lash just call him Koala. It's just easier.
Koloa Matangi and Mamazulios.
Get him back, Timmy, when he comes in for a cut.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Oh god, that was so mean, Tim. You're such a good sport you should have. No one else would have put up with that. Everyone else would have made me do it. So I think you're pretty good. Poor you, just sitting there going, looking at Isaiah Tass and Jack White, and just going, oh shit. But anyway, Tallis Duncan, a man with a first name as a last name and a first name as a last name. All right. Anyway, Kelly, what do we make of Souths?
Yeah, like I said, they've got a bit of a strange team. Obviously, Jack Whiten comes back in there at the Senators after they paid him close to $1 million for the play in the halves or the Senators. That's a bit strange. A bit of a change at halfback after their hero got suspended this week. Like Tim said, Tallis Duncan getting the start, named after Gordon Tallis. Interesting to see Jaden Sullivan on the bench at 14 for his first start in the team. I don't think it's Matt LeBlanc's brother, but I haven't watched anything of Liam LeBlanc. And it is a Wayne Bennett coach team, so who knows? You know, he could be prepping them for the ambush of all ambushes. Sharks got the fireworks ready, first home game. Shark cage fired up, and let's go out and spoil the party. But I just think we're just going to have a little bit more class than them.
Lats, the Bennett factor is the thing. I've never really been intimidated by him as a coach. Overrated? What is he?
Look, I think there is a bit of a Bennett factor. He seems to have a way of getting things out of his players and the respect. He goes to bat hard for them in the media, and he sort of defends them a lot. Whether that be it, I'm not too sure. But I don't know. He can only do so much with the team you've got, and that's not much of a team for mine. I can see us, really knocking them.
SJD's come through in the comments saying, I'm surprised we're $1.17. The Bunnies aren't terrible. How much were the Roosters against the Panthers, Chris?
Yeah, unbelievable. It was just, it was a great game to watch for me, but it was an absolute shock. I don't know if anyone took the $11.
I actually thought that.
No, you messaged
I
me.
did. I just didn't tell anyone.
Didn't tell anyone. In my mind, I said.
No, I just thought that if I was in one of those tipping comps where you get to bet the overs and unders thing or the numbers, I would have gone the Roosters.
Paul Alamati scored in the first set of the 6 and went under the post untouched. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty bad night, and it just turned from there. So.
Well, when it is the super coach.
Sorry, Boldo. SJD saying Bunnies aren't terrible. They haven't had much competition the last 2 weeks. They've had a diminished Dolphins team who absolutely showed how rubbish they are last week, and they played the Dragons. So say no more. I think are a much classier team than those two oppositions.
All right, Tim. Sharks fans, who are we giving a hard time to in this South lineup? Who are we taunting and just giving the Cam Smith treatment?
I think it's got to be Cody Walker.
Yeah,
he loves to cop it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't play well when people are under his skin. So I think we'll have to taunt him a bit.
Well, he's pretty old now, Cody Walker, isn't he?
Yeah, early 30s.
You get getting up there.
No, I reckon he'd be 35. I reckon. Someone in the comments look that up for us and tell us how old Cody Walker is. What about Jai Arrow, Tim? Surely he's a candidate for copping a bit of stick from the Shark cage.
100%.
You didn't even use his right name. You called him Jai Gray.
Yeah, I've just seen that in the comments. I must have. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you just
Jai Gray's
busy.
well behaved.
Well, you had your moment knowing Keon Kolo Matangi, and then you didn't even read the next name because you were too busy thinking, I got the damn name right. All right. Well, as Chris, you saw the South. Is there anyone from this team from South that's under pressure, or what's their kind of lineup and the feeling of this squad?
No, like I said, it's a bit part team. They're still missing. Obviously, Greg Inglis out there. They've lost Tyron Munro from the wing. Who did I say?
Greg Inglis.
Greg Inglis
For a while.
Oh, Greg Inglis. Jesus, going back, aren't I?
So what are we in 2018, mate? Come on.
Same player. It's Greg Inglis. Cody Walker.
Maybe Craig Coleman will come back and play halfback.
Oh yeah, a bit of Owen Craigie, something like that.
Well, as long
Yeah,
as it's
so
not
we-
the peach.
No, it's not, oh, don't. We didn't play at South. He never did. It didn't exist.
Oh, it did,
Yeah, so
unfortunately.
they're still missing a few sort of key weapons out there. So, like I said, it's a bit of a Jaden Sullivan obviously got ditched from the Tigers. He couldn't even make the Tigers team, so he got ditched from the Dragons to the Tigers. So you're going pretty bad if you end up at the South as your third club. Rookie halfbacks in there as well, who from all reports is doing quite well in New South Wales Cup. Campbell Graham's back, but yeah, I'm with Tim. You get under the skin of Cody Walker and his game gets upset. I'm sure Lats could feed you some ammo about Dry Arrow just on the DMs, and you might be able to have a few chants out there and go from there.
Oh, we've had through in the comments, SJD has confirmed. He's looked it up. Cody Walker is 85 years old. So that's how old Cody Walker is. All right, Tim, give us a tip. Who's going to win? Sharks by how many?
Yeah, I got 32. Sharks by 32.
32. God.
Yeah.
All right. Get on that 30.
I will hit the 40s. So we'll let in.
So we're going to have. All right. That's a confident tip. I don't know. Where do you go from there, lads? You bother tipping at all? Tim just saying 32 points.
Mate, I'm going bigger. I'm going with Pistol Pete. I'm going Sharks 51 plus.
Oh, God. Okay, fair enough.
And just going back to Cody Walker being 85, is that in Dry Arrow's dog ears?
Oh, God.
I told you. He's ready to go.
Okay, yep. All right, fair enough. What do I say to that? Nothing. Chris, could you give us a real tip, or are we tipping?
Yeah, I'll confidently say Sharks by 13 plus. Like I said, I watched most of the game against the Dragons in between doing some jobs, sort of sniggering that they were getting beat. But look, Dragons were all over in the first half. It was if Val Holmes in the last two games could find his kicking boots, they would have beat the Bulldogs and they would have beat South. But he just, you pay $800K for a 36-year-old goal kicker who's just not the guy he was in 2016. This is where you are at Owen. You're 0-2 and running Sandhills for the next week's under Flano. So I don't have a problem beating South this week at all.
All right. Well, look, they call me the voice of reason. They call me a lot of things on this show, actually. But one thing they definitely call me is the voice of reason. And this week, I am the voice of reason because you fools, let's just not get too excited and get ahead of ourselves. We know the Sharks can blow and lose matches, especially when we're favoured by this much. I think the Sharks are going to win by 8 to 10 points. I think we'll be comfortable for most of it. The Rabbitohs might get back into it for a little bit, but I think we could even maybe kick away just to get you 13 plus. But I'm going to stick with 8 to 10 points for the Sharkies to get up. So I've tipped the Sharks to win every match this season. So I'm feeling pretty buoyant about the Sharkies. So there's my tip. Anyone else got any tips? Do get them into the comments section and let us know what you think. I think we're all tipping Sharks wins this week. All right, let's move on to it. The main headline subject of this week's show. And we touched on it at the start of the match or the start of the podcast, really, the atmosphere at Shark Park. This segment is brought to you by our new sponsor. They don't even know they're the sponsors yet. Billy's at Cronulla. You are looking for a quality haircut, get down to Billy's. And if you mention the Shark Cage or Tim, then you will get 20% off your haircut, courtesy of Tim and our new friends. And Chris, you can get a haircut.
Can I go?
Me. Yeah, you can go indeed.
Mate, you'll have to go to Crystal Car Wash.
We'll go to the bowling alley.
Where is Billy's at Cronulla, Tim?
It's in the shopping village there.
At Cronulla.
Yeah, Cronulla, yeah.
Yeah, got it. All right. Yeah, I actually know. Yeah, oh God, you do work there. I have seen you in there actually now that I think about it. All right,
Did
sweet.
you actually
Okay.
run that special by Tim?
No.
We'll see. We'll see you rocks up.
Hey. Wow.
Oh, here we
Nice,
go.
lovely.
All right. Come back to your
Lovely.
comment, SJD. We're going to cover that at the end. That's a good prediction. All right, let's get on to it. Dino Mezzatesta has talked to me about this subject at length. Not that I'm name dropping, but I know that he would love for the Sharks to have the best atmosphere at home games at home park at Shark Stadium or whatever we're calling it these days. I think it's called Shark Stadium, isn't it, Chris?
That's
Shark
correct.
Stadium.
We lost point bets.
We should put that in a trivia thing. Now, look, the impact of having an amazing home ground experience. Being an international fan for a Premier League team, I can tell you firsthand that when I travel to Nottingham Forest and the City Ground, And I had those initial moments pre-match of listening to the way that the crowd interacts with the team and the songs that they sing and the things that they do. It is like heartwarming, gut-wrenching. It is all the motions at the same time. And if we as Sharks fans can get this right, we can create a pretty special atmosphere. And we've got a pretty special team. And so we've got to work pretty hard at this. And I would challenge us as Sharks fans, and I've seen it in the comments, and there was a guy that commented on Sharks Forever or one of those that said, message to Dino, he needs to help the Sharks fans. And I think it's more on us. And so that's why I applaud you, Tim, so much for coming on. Chris, where does Shark Park sit for difficulty for away grounds for teams to come to? You know why I'm asking you that question.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask for fans more, so I'll go with teams. It is known as the Bermuda Triangle. It's a tough place to get to. Obviously, it's a bus ride for most teams to get there, whether they're coming out of town from Queensland, Canberra, even Penrith will be a long bus ride for them as well. So tough ground to come to. The conditions, they know they're going to get a bit of a dour game on a Saturday night, very cold. Can be a windy game. Sunday, sunny. We talked about this with some other commentators in regards to or Ryan Hoffman, we talked about regards to coming days on a Sunday and it's nice and sunny and it's places pumping. But they know they're going to get a hard time from us, at least, from a parochial crowd that's on the hill, enjoying themselves and really getting into it. So they know the conditions aren't the same at some of these nicer new stadiums. So it takes them back to their suburban days, and we're just going to try and drag them down and turn it into our really stout home ground, I think.
All right, lads. So we've got a pretty good natural elements, atmosphere of the wind and all that carry on. So abrasiveness towards the opposition fans. And look, you give it out as much as the best of them. Maybe not as good as me, but pretty good, I reckon.
So I've seen you being pretty abrasive in the past, Boldo. But look, mate, we have done it before, as early days CWSC. We've been a part of it. Used to be able to hear us on the TV coverage. We were pretty loud supporters. We'd always get raps from the commentators and from the club. Look, I just feel that with the ground we need a leagues club so you can go and rip a few skewies and get loud before the game. We need the complete setup. It needs to be finished. And I think we will build that atmosphere. We're a bunch of passionate people. We might not be working class English supporters, but we are passionate people, and we do wear our hearts on our sleeves, and I think we can get there.
Well, you saw that in my question, didn't you? But I didn't actually ask the English supporters working class because we're not.
I thought you were bringing English football into it.
Credit.
That's the reason why I said that.
I'm so proud of you for reading the run sheet, lads. All right.
And it was the
right.
All
right.
one.
Well, Tim, without asking you the question, no, I'm going to ask you the question for the benefit of those listening. You've obviously set up the supporters group, and you're a pretty passionate Sharks fan. Now, I don't like to be negative about it, but what's the problem you're trying to solve for? What are you trying to bring to Shark Park that you feel isn't there, I guess, is the key question I've got for you.
Just loud. Just loud. Like, literally, after posting one of my previous posts about the chants that we've created, most of those comments below were, "It's the library at Shark Park. I've never seen it so quiet the last couple of years." That would have been past when Lats and the CWSC were around. That it's just that quiet after kickoff.
But why is it quiet? Is that just like because it's Cronulla people are just quiet people, Tim?
I think Lats had a good point with the leagues club and the whole setup around. Like, you can't go for a free drink somewhere or walk from somewhere to sort of march along with everyone and get everyone together. I think that's a big factor in it.
I think it just builds your togetherness, doesn't it? Yeah, go lads.
And I think too, we're a very family orientated club, so I guess that doesn't play into the whole, rowdiness of it. But we can still get loud, get the kids involved, and I don't know what that means. Whether it means that ground announcer getting a bit more vocal during the match, not just at halftime. Bring the band back to the southern stand. Who knows? But
better beware, better watch your back. Those guys.
Speaking of abrasive. No.
Just don't play the Jaws
yeah.
music. Leave the Jaws music out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we just don't want to cop the ridicule that the para fans get from the para can chant, really, do we, Chris?
It's recorded. It's recorded. It's recorded. So I pointed that out to my mother-in-law many years ago. It was recorded. And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, in the sound, you can hear people banging the sides. Remember, we used to have the old signage on the old around the grounds when we used to sit back on the old slat seats on the opposite side of the ground. We used to have old signage, tin signage. You could bang away and make a lot of noise. And I wish poor Tim had that down his end because they'd make a lot of noise out of it. But it's actually twofold. Like Lat said, he mentions the CWC. They were another iteration of the old Sharks Army, and they sort of dropped off. The CWC came in, made a lot of noise, and they've dropped off. But we also lost. You got to remember, Beer Hill made a lot of noise, and we've lost Beer Hill. Like that was where the guys got rowdy up there. They used to go nuts. You'd see schooners go flying on the ground. Other supporters hated going there because they get howled with beer on the way out, probably on the way in. And it was a drunk, rowdy section that's absolutely gone. Like they've gotten rid of that. So it doesn't help. And then again, we're showing our age by sitting in the Sharks ET stand, and it's not as loud there at all, is it? Like it doesn't get loud until we actually score, or you can hear our voices, correct? Like the players can hear us because it's that quiet. We can yell out, and they'll hear exactly what we're saying.
Well, we know Andrew Fafita has heard what I've said over the last 10 years.
Many times.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Andrew Fafita. I got this for Sharks fans, actually, that I worked out, is that we're terrible at selling our good seats and our ET stand tickets to opposition fan teams. Now, I know I've done this in the past, and everyone always says to me, but you've done it. I've now stopped doing it because it freaking bugs me is that when, and you know who you are, Wazza, you sell your damn tickets, and I know you're going to be there with your South buddies this week, and then we don't get as much parochial Sharks noise. Not that we're trying to, stop opposition fans from coming to the Sharks matches. We don't want them taking our good seats.
We used to have, people would throw coins at opposition fans.
We don't want to do that.
No, we had, like I said, we had Beer Hill, and I remember one time there was a group of about 8 Cowboys fans when the Cowboys were no good and no one would travel, and someone turned the fire hose on top of them. Like it was just, and people just went, "We don't want to go back there." And I'm like, "This is great. We don't want you here. Like it's great."
Well, turning the fire hose is not such a bad. Thompson, Mr. Glenn Thompson's come through in the comments saying consistent wins will get the locals in. Sadly, Sharks games used to be a huge night out for shy locals. Lats is onto it. Getting the Leagues Club back will help. Just getting you down to matches too, Glenn Thompson. I believe bit of sweet and fair justice will certainly help. Tim, Sharks fans, how do you think we can help this cause? What could we do?
I think just get around it. As you'll see, definitely this week, that the Shark Cage will be located in that corner where Stone Street scores on the right hand side of the ET stand. I think just the start of it, and then people just gain along. Well, we hope people just gain along and just get the noise in there.
Well, just get amongst it and just also have a bit of fun with the chants and fun with the opposite. I think we want to make it hostile. And look, I was trying to coach Tim because as being a more former CWC person and being someone who rates himself at coming up with chants, I'd say let's run with some basic chants early, your Sharkies and your Cronulla Sharks, like your basic ones that people can get into pretty quickly. And then when a player does something pretty cool, that can certainly help. But I think you'll also find that the chants will just come up organically. Should we be giving Dane Wheeler a hard time or wording him up, Lats, for the bit more rowdiness at this thing? Or is Dane Wheeler even still with the Sharks? I don't know.
Yeah, 100% he is.
Surely he is. We love Dane Wheeler.
I don't think we need to give him a hard time. I just think maybe the club can sort of inject him a bit more throughout the match and not just starting the chants over the speaker. When we're close to the line, or even if the club came out possibly and had some sort of incentive base for like most passionate supporter each week. You dress up and you get loud, you get rowdy, and you win like a unique game day experience or a jersey or something, just to, just try and create that atmosphere.
The hand drums. Bring back the hand drum camera.
Yeah, all that sort of thing.
Well, I also think just the other one that I thought was really good from the Premier League used to be the "Who are ya? Who are ya?" and like the pointing and the getting the fans to do some other stuff like that. So look, Tim, this stuff's going to evolve for you. I wish you the best of luck on this journey.
It really will. It'll naturally evolve. People will migrate towards you. Like it's really cool for us to see as well, because like I said, we've been part of previous supporters clubs and getting amongst it. You go to away games, it gets noisy. It's great, but we love seeing things like this because it's just it creates that atmosphere and everyone gets behind it.
We might have to have a bit of just a bit of a segment on some of Chris Kelly's away signage that he's made over the years. So it might have to be a bit of a later time slot, but
that was 20 years ago, mate. They won't pass muster these days.
No, definitely not.
They won't pass muster these days, mate.
I never got a schooner thrown over me holding the sign for Chris Kelly while I went to the bathroom. Never.
Well, people who throw schooners at beers and at football matches
no.
Should be dealt with harshly.
Should be dealt with harshly. I tell you, at Madison Square Garden, they had some pretty good halftime entertainment. They had the guys on the go-karts running around the jerseys. I thought that was pretty good. And then they did a really cool thing. I've got to write this to the Sharks about how they could do with they had 3 different packages, and then with the courier company that sponsored them, you get to pick them out. But Tim, let's end with you. Last call to arms for Sharks fans that are getting down to the Sharks match this week. Fire them up, get us pumped up. Let's go as we move into our next segment.
No, there'll be definitely. We've got as I've said, we've got new flags, signs. We've got a drum in place, so that would, I think, hype up that would just hype it up for everyone. I think sort of as soon as they see that, they'll get amongst it. Yeah, I was down at the Belmore game on the weekend.
They had some pretty hectic stuff going on, didn't they?
And that's just unbelievable. Good tips off them. I'll take that. But
did you wear your Sharks jersey down to Belmore? Or did you make it out okay?
I sure did, but it wasn't a good idea. Got copped a few from a few people.
Can tell you from experience, it's not a good idea. Boldo, I was going to say, we should put a SOS out to Bubbles. Get Bubbles down there. Get his trumpet back out.
Yeah, well, we know the trumpet guy, Tim. If you want to get the trumpet guy down, he's pretty useful.
Yeah, actually, I saw him on Facebook. I was about to give him a message, but I was actually going down tomorrow to go get the trumpet.
He's a good bloke.
He's a good bloke. All right. Let's just close this out. SJ doing halftime entertainment idea. Dogs wearing Sharks and South gear playing ultimate frisbee. That would actually be pretty good. And then Tomo's come through just saying, be patient, Tim. If you build it, they will come. That indeed. All right. We're trying to keep this show to a reasonable length of time. So let's get the around the league segment happening, which is meant to be that one. Kelly in the socials for Sharks fans. If you have not watched a single minute of the NRL, or you've not watched NRL 360, or that never was been Sharks player Matt Johns' show, then this is the segment for you, because Chris Kelly takes us around the league, giving us everything that any Sharks fans may want to know about the NRL at the moment. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, so it comes out this week, obviously, with the Daily M leaderboard. Kalen Ponga on top with 12 points. But if you have a look at there, in third place, Boldo, is Mr. William Kennedy on 8 points. He is third in the Daily M's currently after 2 rounds. Massive improvement. His former protege and backup Connor Tracy's also in there with quite a good start, and a former Shark in Luke Metcalf. So a bit of a strange table like it is at the start of the season, but obviously Will's grabbing all our points after 2 weeks. In one of the biggest upsets we've seen in the history of the NRL and modern rugby league was the Sydney Roosters against Panthers at Parramatta Stadium. Interesting to note as well, over at Parramatta Stadium is Panthers' new home ground while they do a remodel out there at Penrith. They only got a small paltry crowd of 12,500, but the Roosters came to play at $11 to 1 with the upset. Boldo was told taking the $19 on Sportsbet, but not too sure. I don't think he actually put his money down, but just one of the weird upsets that happened. Obviously, the Wars back at home got up over Manly as well, and Canberra 2-0 pumped up against Brisbane down in Canberra. which kind of scares me because we're going down there in a couple of weeks. So we'll watch this space to see how they go. Ricky Stewart's team fired up. In injury news across the league, obviously Tim was out there at Belmore. A couple of key injuries to the Dogs in Matt Burton and Viliami Kikau, getting a couple of MCL injuries, and Burton seems to be Kikau seems to be worse out. Burton's about 2 to 4 weeks. Kikau's about 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll see how they go out of this. The Dogs, they were quite pumped up, winning 2 games so far. I've seen the crowd on socials afterwards getting out amongst Canterbury and pretty much fired up in the main street, having a parade, the drum going, everything like they won the premiership, but a long way off in March. Obviously, out of Vegas, we had the brouhaha in Resorts World. Me and Boldo know it's a bit of a rowdy hotel. But the Canberra Raider players having a brouhaha in the hotel lifts. I don't know if it was the ones we were in at all, Boldo. It's quite entertaining in those lifts. But yeah, the young players there for Canberra, Hudson Young and their Englishmen have been served breach notice to Morgan Smithies by the NRL. Watch this space. I'm sure it'll just be a bit of a monetary fine and go on from there.
Now, what's his name? Morgan Smithers?
Smithies, the Englishman. He's an Englishman. In some strange signing news, Ravalawa has gone from the Dragons to South. I wasn't sure if he's going to get named, but I don't know when he's actually gone over there. He must be going this week, but it's only on a 1-year deal. Dave Clemmer has joined the Dragons on the back of leaving the Tigers, and Francis Molo has been granted a release from the Dragons. So a few moves going on at St George, but I don't see much of improvement of a signing in that. That's Clemmer to Dragons.
Interesting one, mate. I found the Ravalawa one more surprising in regards to he's back at the Dragons in 2026. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we just signed a 1-year, kind of like a loan deal. So we're just going for the 1-year season over the South, and then should see him come back.
That's weird.
Dave Clemmer's Aaron Woods 2.0. He's going to play for every team before he retires and follow them all when he does retire.
He did have
WWE wrestling by 2030.
He did have one of those ratchet clauses in there where if he played 15 games this season with West Tigers, he had a player option to pick up 2026. So the Tigers saw that writing on the wall and said, see you later. And he's joined Dad's army down here in Wollongong. So I don't know. We'll see. And the announcement for the Indigenous round this year is getting bigger and bigger, and it's good to see. So the Gadoo gathering is happening at Allianz in round 24. You're going to see the Roosters versus Dogs on the Friday night. You then see Souths versus Eels on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, you'll see the Tigers have the women's NRLW team play the Dragons NRLW team. And the Tigers will play Manly Seagulls, all at Allianz Stadium in the one round. So they're trying to gather a bit of a, let's say, a magic round, but more Indigenous to go to the whole weekend at the one stadium. So good to see that's picking up a bit of legs. And I got one of those Indigenous jerseys behind me, and I quite enjoy it. So good to see it's gathering a bit of momentum.
Hey, you love all the damn bloody jerseys, don't you?
Yeah, it's a great one, that one.
That's a cracker.
All right. Thank you for that.
The Pepsi one has been released this week, so look out. Bring back the Pepsi ball.
All right. Well, thanks for that awesome Around the League roundup, Chris. As someone who really, quite frankly, hates all of the other teams, I quite like how you give me a quick 5-minute update on everything I need to know. I'm not sure if this segment's for the rest of the show or if it's just built for me. Let's just quickly cover off in the 90 seconds we have before we close off the show. SJD's come through with a comment. I have a very spicy prediction. Iro to play for New South Wales this year. Let's get a quick yes or no on that one, Tim. From Tim, Chris, then Lats. Tim?
I'd love to see it, but I think there's just too many good players out there in his position.
Christopher?
You know how I feel about Origin being a cranky old man now, so no.
Lats?
No, mate, I think Ramin will get a start, but I don't think Hero will. In the future, yeah, but not this year.
Yeah, I can't see him. He'd have to be, look, not impossible.
His defense is there. He's a strong runner, but I don't want our team touched by Origin this season. It's a selfish
Sharkies,
reason.
we'd have to be seriously high on the table, I think, to be able to jag a player into the Origin in the centres. I think I can't see that one happening for us. So not yet, SJD. Maybe soon, but maybe. Look, good work from the coach pushing that forward. All right, lads. Well, that was the ET stand for this week. We will be live. I think we're going to go live right after full time for the debrief this week, even though there's 2 other matches. Because I'm going to do it because I'm going to be at the match. I'm going to be staying up and watching it. I think I'm not going to be at the match because I'm in New York. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm in New York.
I don't know how we're going to work that out yet. So we're going to do that. We'll have the opposition fan preview, which I might get Franco to do, or I might do it myself. No, I'll do it myself. And then we'll also have a Chronicles episode out too. So we've got a bit of content coming up. Other than that, Tim, thanks for coming in, legend. Good luck Saturday. You're going to have a great time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
You're definitely here to New York. And
don't forget to get into Billy's down at Cronulla for a haircut. And if you mention the Shark Cage, you get a discount. Chris, good to see you, mate. I do miss you. And Lats, your display wear Eddinghausen jersey is looking terrific.
It's looking sharp, isn't it?
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, we will see you guys soon. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.